Hi friends, Kansi here from atop Serenity Hill. I am also the host of the Creative Playground membership, where I help creatives just like you embrace play, curiosity, and imperfection in their art practice. So today we're going to do a little bit of that, play, curiosity, imperfection. And we are going to make something that I've been asked about a few times recently, and that is my paper bag waterfall journal. Okay, so as you can see, this is one that is actually in progress, and I'll do a little flip through in a second. And I have taught this. If you have been around me for a while, you might have taken one of my free creative play dates, and I did a fall version of this. And then I did this version, which is just done with, the outside of it is done with a giant lunch bag. Okay, so this is the size, let's get it so it's not shiny, of the lunch bag I'm using. So it's a giant one as opposed to the regular lunch bag. I've taught it with the regular one. You can adapt it for that as well. So I'm going to share with you how I made this so that you can make yourself one. You can do anything you want as a closure because this is the front and this is the back. I felt like it was easier just to put a little bulldog clip either on the top or on the spine to just keep it closed. But if you could think of a different way that you would like to close it and keep it closed, that is entirely up to you. It does stay closed by itself after a while, but when you first do it, it is a little up, I guess you would say. The other thing is you could make a hidden paper clip, or just a paper clip with some frou-frou ribbon on it would be working as well. So the cover is made from the paper bag. Okay, so there's a pocket on the back, and there's a pocket, a little baby pocket on the front. And then the bottom of the paper bag, which I'm going to go through all this and cut it off so you can see, creates a pocket, a little hidden fold out pocket. I have some stickers in there, which we glue onto the back page. Okay, so you utilize the whole paper bag. And then the pages themselves are in a waterfall configuration. And so I've done a little bit of nature journaling in this one. And so this is all I've done so far. This was just some demonstration at a class. And then, you know, I have space. So every time you go to another page, it gets longer and longer for you to work on. So you can have this itty bitty page, a little bit bigger, all the way to super spread, and then of course that's the super spread, and then the back page. The paper that I used was just regular cardstock. So you're going to grab yourself one of these bags if you have to run out and get some, or ask a friend. Perhaps they have one that you don't have to go buy 50 bags. And then I have some regular 8.5 by 11 cardstock. It is white, okay? It was white. I have coffee dyed it. And then you have the ability at that point to, you need 2 pieces, by the way, 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. After that, you have the ability to add the tabs however you want. You can decorate it however. You know, I decorated a little bit here. I left the back more as journaling spaces. This was originally going to be a gratitude journal, although honestly, gratitude for being outside in nature. This was at a local walk. This was outside my window of my patio or my porch. And then I added these fun little rainbow cutouts or punch outs for butterflies as tabs, more like decoration. They don't really have a function on each of the pages. All right, and then the final thing that is an option, and I'm gonna obviously make a bag here with you, but I wanted to give you some thoughts. You can color the edges of these pages anywhere you want. This was done with colored pencil. Okay, it's probably easiest to see there. And I did color on both sides, all right? And obviously this one is all in the rainbow, and because why pick one color when you can pick all of them? But you could pick, you know, all warm tones or all pink tones or all cool tones, and, you know, whatever you want. The original one I made was for the fall, and it was all fall colors. And then I punched the corners, corner rounded them. So you can use colored pencil, you could use watercolor, you could use Inktense pencils or your Neo 2 crayons. I am actually going to edge mine with washi tape. Okay, so I have some washi tape handy. And just to give you another thought about how to edge the pages. You also don't have to edge them at all. If you are a big art journaler and you want to keep no color on it because you are going to add all the color, then you just leave it plain. All right, so here's what you want to get. I've got 2 pieces of cardstock, which I did coffee stain, and it's kind of, let me see if I can get in focus, kind of, you can see a pattern. I put a stencil on this, but the stencil did not work as good. You can kind of see it here. It doesn't work as good on the cardstock as it does on regular paper. I have a video all about how I coffee dye using stencils, coffee dye my paper, so that's below if you would like to check up on that video. So you need 2 of those, and then you need a brown paper bag. All right, and the first thing that we're going to do is we need to cut everything so it's ready to go. All right, so I have my little cutter here. So you're going to cut off the bag, the bottom of the bag, but you're going to cut it right along the edge. Don't cut this part, but you're going to cut like along this crease right here, okay? So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to actually get it in place where I want it to cut. And then I'm going to, just so that I don't run into an issue, keep moving this. Okay, I'm going to tuck this under so that I don't accidentally cut it off. Okay, so now you can see it's cut exactly on the edge, and now I have the pop-up bag. Okay, so cut that off, and then you have your bag. I like, if you look on the original, there is a section on the paper bag that it's at the top, and I put that on the back and on the top. Okay, so that was my preference. You do you, it doesn't matter, it really is going to be the same. And then these papers, you see, are 11 inches, not 11, sorry, 8.5 wide. All of them are 8.5 wide. So you're going to take your 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and just cut it in half. And I don't have my big cutter. I lent it to my mother. So and this one does not have a ruler that comes out, a ruler that comes out from under it, which is bloody hilarious to me. So I just have to mark it. 5.5 is where I need to cut these. All right, so let me do that. Okay, so I have my 4 pieces of paper. If you have patterns or want to, I have some kind of green sparkly must have been on my stencil. See how fun that is? It transferred when I sprayed the coffee through it, so that is delightful. So I'll just make sure I go like every other, because one has green and one does not. All right, so I have my bag and I have my paper. The first sheet is the middle sheet here, and you're going to fold it over. Let's pop those here. The first sheet over so that it stops a 1/2 inch. A 1/2 inch-ish. This does not need to be measured very crazily, but a 1/2 inch from the edge, okay? Bone folder would be handy. So you can see that they're not all exact. If you want to measure them, go for it. I'm just going to let you know that it doesn't matter, and you shouldn't make yourself crazy that you want to keep measuring it, okay? That's not what you want to do. So the one I just did is the center. That is your center page, okay? Then you grab your next one, and I literally am going to eyeball this. It looks like I was off with the cutting, but I'll fix all that in the end. I'm going to eyeball, you see, eyeballing, and fold it up. I'm going to take it out because I want the creases to be crisp. Tuck it back in, and there's the first set of waterfall. I'm going to do the next. I am eyeballing it, y'all. Eyeballing it. I cannot stress that enough. Okay, there you go. And then we've got our final piece. And I am going to have to trim this, because you can see it was a little off, but not a big deal. You will learn, if you watch me long enough, that I embrace imperfection. It is, after all, paper, some coffee, pair of scissors. It's nothing fancy. Nothing fancy. We don't do fancy here. We do fun here. All right, so I'm going to just double check that it is all somewhat lined up, and if it's bothering you that they're off, trim. So it shouldn't, this is, I'm trimming it more for y'all, honestly, than me. But the other thing that's going to happen is that I'm going to corner round them. And you can see how precious I'm being about this trimming. Sorry, I don't want to lose anything, but I'm doing this on camera because I want you to see how unprecious this is, okay? All right. Okay, so I have my paper. I'm going to do the corner round. This is my favorite corner rounder. You can choose whichever works for you. I tend to use the 7 the most. So let me corner round everything and we'll get back to it. Okay, so once you add the corner rounding on, it tends to not show as much that you might not have cut it perfectly. And again, really, who cares? The other thing I want to say is I'm not a huge inker, like using distress inks, but this would also be a great project if you love doing that, is to ink up all the edges and make it look even more coffee and junky and vintagey, okay? All right, so then now that I've got all those ready to go, the last thing I want to do is I want to fold the cover. So you can see now you're eyeballing again. It's about the same, okay? So I'm eyeballing the cover. Just line it up and smush it down. Okay. There you go. And you still have all this. All right. So before we put it all together and start decorating it, we have to glue our bag a little bit because we have this part of our bag on both sides. Okay, so let's start with that. We're going to glue those down. Okay, so those are glued down. Now I have this tube, okay? And then you have the ability to glue either side of these down, All right, so when I think about which side am I going to glue down, let's give that a second to dry. When I'm thinking about, you know, do I want it to be reinforced on this side or this side? This is your cover, so I want to reinforce this side, okay? So I'm going to glue this. Might help if I have a skinnier glue stick. You can use whatever glue, obviously. You can use some white glue, like your PVA glue, your art glitter glue. You do you, boo. It's whatever works. If you're good with double-sided tape, throw some double-sided tape in there. Okay. Okay, so now it does need to dry. It's the thing about glue sticks. It needs some time to dry. But when I open it, I have a pocket, okay? And anywhere that's didn't catch, you can just add some extra glue. Okay. And then on the back side, the same thing, okay? I'm looking to maybe reinforce the back cover as opposed to this part. Or this is also something for you to bear in mind with these bags. They have this little piece that's kind of ripped for some reason on the bags. I always thought something was wrong, and it was a flaw. So when I did mine, I actually reinforced it the other way, okay? I took this and glued it up against this part because this rip was there. Now, you could, of course, have cut that part off, but why? Okay, so now you've reinforced this part, which has the little rips. If yours have the rips, reinforce against that, all right? And then for the cover, I've reinforced against the front. You won't do it wrong either way, I promise you that. All right, so now I've got everything glued here, and I've got my bag. So I've got my bag, and I've got not my bag, I've got my bag, but I've got all my pages. So you can bind this with a pamphlet stitch if that's what you enjoy doing, if you know how to do it and that's how you want to do it. I kept mine really simple and I used a stapler, but I know that not everybody has a long arm stapler, which is kind of what you need. You know, unless you have a stapler that will get to here, you need a long arm stapler. So you can use a pamphlet stitch. You could run it through your sewing machine if you're okay running, you know, paper through your sewing machine and that's how you like to bind. You could just punch a hole, like talking about punching the hole straight on. Okay, so punch a hole here and here and then just put some ribbon through it. And what you lose with that is that you would lose some of the pages because they would have to bend up against your binding, but that's an option. Use what you're comfortable with. If you have the ability to staple it, and that's what I'm going to do, then staple it. It's easy, it's down and dirty. I like the down and dirty. Okay, so I'm going to make sure everything is nice and tight, and then I'm going to clamp this. I'm also going to make sure it's kind of like in the middle here. Okay, so I've got my two staples in, boop, boop, and they're center-ish. And you can see, this is why I like putting that little clamp on it. Until it's been used and stuck down enough, the staple makes it do that, okay? So hence the little bulldog. All right, so now I've got my bag. I've got my little thing, my pocket in the back, my pocket in the front here, and then my pages. So now I've got my last pocket, which is here. And I am going to glue this so that it's open to the back, okay? So that once it's glued down, it's easy to pop up. And I just center it. The reason I didn't glue it first was because I wanted to make sure where everything landed, and then visually I can glue it right in the middle of the back, all right? So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, and so now you have a little pocket. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I wanna decorate my edges. I also wanna point out, because I'm sure someone's gonna notice, that when I did this, it shifted. So it's higher, it's closer to the edge here than here. I'm always pointing out when things go not perfect, because I want you to see in the end, does it matter? If it mattered to you, then take the staples out and do it again, okay? It doesn't in the end matter to me, because right now I'm being very focused on, you know, the bag itself and all that, but I'm gonna add washi on the edges. I'm gonna add some more tabs. Everything is gonna start to make it blend in together, and it's okay, all right? So I took a couple different, I have a bunch of different papers. Maybe I should just go over where my theme is with this. So this one was obviously the rainbow. With this one, everything literally started with this piece of paper and this punch that I have here, okay? I wanted to add these flowers on some of the pages. It might be that it's too much and all the pages, how every one of these pages had a little butterfly, it might be too much. I don't know. So everything kind of stemmed from that. Then I started looking at, you know, ooh, this kind of matches both of these. Maybe these could be for the tabs, this little piece of paper. These are old jelly prints. They're not my jelly prints, but anybody's jelly prints, but they're my friend's jelly print leftovers. Then I was like, well, I like the idea of, you know, the coffee stained paper. Maybe I can put some coffee stained paper on a back. Maybe I can add some of this. And then butterflies started showing up. So I was like, what if I put this on the front with some butterflies on, you know, on the inside cover? So I started just pulling papers. This has butterflies. This is more coffee stained paper, and fabulously it fits this. I did not cut it to do that. That's what it did. So I just started pulling things. I also, you know, pulled this out. It piqued my interest as I was going through my paper stash. This kind of piqued my interest. This color is super bright. You know, do I want to add some bright to my coffee stain, the vintage versus modern kind of feel? This also showed up, something I'm not using. It got folded wrong, so could this be something? So whatever strikes your fancy, and we're going to see what I want to do, okay? But so where I was going with that was, then I was like, what do I want to do for the edging? And this green, I love this green washi tape. It's got all these like bugs and moths, butterflies and moths on it, but I'm not sure I love the bright green part. So I have that. Then I found this, which keeps with the muted coffee stain feel, but it also has the blue, okay, plus the butterflies are blue. So there's that. And then I also, if I stayed with the blue but wanted to edge it in even a thinner, because there are two different sizes of washi tape, then I have this washi tape, which is super pretty too, because it pulls in the blue. It doesn't pull in butterflies, which is nice. It pulls in the coffee color, and it's thinner. So what is it that I'm looking for? Okay, do I want it, this is very busy. This is a little simpler, but the color is there, and it's pulling in the color from here and here. So I don't know, let me try it and we'll see what happens. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with both. I'm gonna go every other. I like both. I can't choose, so I'm gonna put them on every other. Okay, so I added on my little tabs to my pages after I did all the washi tape. Then I chose to do 4 of these and then 5 of the butterflies. So the center page actually has 2, but visually that's what I felt it needed. And I might even put one here, but maybe not because I still have a tab that's going on the front. So now I'm just going to play with decorating the front here, the front of this, and then the back. Okay, and then we'll meet back here and see what happened. All right, so I have everything on. I put these little tabs on the pockets, okay? It also just adds another element to it, and I kind of mixed up whether I wanted them to be blue or burgundy, and this one helps this one open. And you know, you can get super decorative about, I could have added more things here, I could have added more things, more stickers, more collage, more stenciling. You know, you can go crazy in how you decorate this. This one had a plain piece of paper just like this, but then I started adding layers to it. So it can also be part of your process. So to decorate all of this, I just wanted to keep it pretty simple. I might put a quote back here. I don't know. I kind of like let the journal talk to me as I'm going. So I have another little bulldog clip left, and I have some string, some yarns that work with the coloring. And you know, if you had a rusty bulldog clip, that would be really cool with this one. And now I've got zhizh on this side. Okay. All right, y'all. So whether you do a rainbow, where's my clip for this one? Whether you do one that's a rainbow, whether you do one that's coffee dyed paper, white paper, I mean, obviously it's just a base of white cardstock and the brown lunch bag. And then from there, you can literally make it however you want, whatever color palette you want, whatever scraps you have lying around. That's what a lot of this was just scraps, okay? Is scraps. So I hope you'll take the idea and run with it, have fun with it. It's a small journal. It won't take a lot to work in, and this might even be something really fun to have as maybe like a travel journal or the journal you have on the go, so you don't have a big journal to take with you. If you like big journals, this would be one to just work in a smaller version for now. All right, so thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here, hi, and don't forget to subscribe. All right, if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. I would love to know in the comments, is this something that you would make? Have you made something similar? That would be awesome. If you have a question, that's where the comments section is, and I read and respond to all the comments, so let me know what you're thinking. All right, everyone, see you soon in another video.